Sean Feucht's controversial Canadian tour has ignited a national debate about the boundaries of religious expression, political activism, and public safety. Feucht, a former USA congressional candidate and founder of the Let Us Worship movement, is well known for organizing mass outdoor worship events in defiance of COVID-19 restrictions and for promoting what many describe as Christian nationalism. His arrival in Canada was met with swift opposition, particularly from LGBTQ advocacy groups, progressive religious leaders, and local officials who view his messaging as divisive and inconsistent with Canadian values of inclusion and multiculturalism. The backlash began when Feucht's scheduled event in Calgary was abruptly cancelled after the city received hundreds of complaints. Local officials cited public safety concerns and a failure to comply with event permitting requirements. Similarly, in Ottawa, a planned performance was denied access to city-owned venues after city councillors raised alarms about Feucht's track record of inflammatory statements, especially his stance on issues like abortion, gender identity, and same-sex marriage. Vancouver followed suit, with city officials refusing to grant permits, noting that his messaging could incite hate and create a hostile environment for minority communities. Despite these setbacks, Feucht pushed forward with his tour, and the most contentious moment came in Montreal. There, Feucht defied local regulations by staging a concert in a public park without a permit. The event drew dozens of protesters holding signs that read "Hate has no home here" and "Respect all beliefs," while others peacefully sang. Although Montreal police did not forcibly shut down the event, Feucht was later issued a fine for violating municipal bylaw rules regarding unpermitted gatherings. The spectacle was widely covered in both Canadian and USA media, fueling online culture wars and sparking renewed debate over freedom of speech versus hate speech in Canada. In stark contrast, the city of West Kelowna, British Columbia, has thus far decided to allow Feucht's concert to proceed, though not without reservations. City officials have called for enhanced police presence and safety reviews to ensure the event not provoke violence or disrupt community harmony. Several West Kelowna residents have spoken out, saying they support Feucht's right to free expression, while others warned that his arrival could create unnecessary tension. A local Indigenous group expressed concern that Feucht's tour falls near traditional territory and could create cultural clashes, especially given his history of disregarding Indigenous land protocols during prior events in the USA. Feucht, for his part, has leaned into the controversy, using it to galvanize his followers on social media. He has painted the cancellations and protests as examples of persecution and spiritual warfare, urging his supporters to stand for faith and freedom in Canada. This rhetoric has resonated with some Christian communities across the border, who feel increasingly alienated in what they view as a secularizing Canadian society. However, critics argue that Feucht's brand of worship tours are less about spiritual revival and more about political spectacle aimed at polarizing audiences. Attention surrounding Feucht's tours echoes previous controversies in Canada, where USA-based Dialogues attempted to bring their culture wars north. In 2018, alt-right figure Jordan Peterson was blocked from several university campuses over concerns of and in 2022, a speaking event by anti-LGBTQ preacher David Lynn was halted in Toronto following widespread protests. These incidents reveal a Canadian public increasingly unwilling to tolerate imported political extremism, especially when it targets vulnerable groups. As Sean Feucht's tour continues, it is becoming more than just a series of concerts. It is a flashpoint in the ongoing battle over what kind of society Canada wants to be. One that welcomes all voices under the banner of free expression, or one that draws firmer lines when those voices threaten to divide. The coming weeks will likely determine whether Feucht's message gains traction in Canada, or if it ultimately fades under the weight of public resistance. If you found this story eye-opening and want to stay updated on issues shaping Canada's social and cultural landscape, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to West is Best. Your voice, your view, your channel.